Alright, so what's up? What's up? I'm just doing this last third part for one of the three main programs that I use when it comes to creating my channel and all these different things that I've been getting into and figuring out, searching for. So with this program, it's called PIXLR. I use it for everything pretty much. Alright, so we're going to jump into that. Let me show you here. So PIXLR is the next generation photo editor. It's free online with the browser. You experience, being able to adjust everything that you would use on Photoshop, but with all the simplicity. They do give you the options to get pretty in depth about it, but that's advanced PIXLR. Then there's the other one as well, which is playful PIXLR. But either way, so there's one that is more advanced, and I think that one is not this website. This is like PIXLR X, and it's just a way easier program. So as you can see, these are all the different. So when you make a thumbnail for your YouTube video or for whatever you might need it for, don't even worry about making it too complicated. Just get your, like this is one of my videos. What I did was, when it comes to starting, you go right here. This is your history. Stock search will give you the options to look for any images you might need, all in alphabetical order or whatnot, or you just search right here. Create new will give you the options to start with the canvas size on the height and width of what you might need it. If you're making an emote for Twitch or whatnot, they'll give you the specified height and width. If you want the background in there, or if you want it to be a PNG, turn that off, and then you just name your title, of course. But these different sizes are already specified for what they're usually used for, which is Instagram image, Instagram story, Facebook cover, Facebook profile pic, Ultra HD, Full HD. So these different sizes will give you different pixel counts, which will allow you to better image and sharper imagery. Now, when you want to create new, you would just pick I just go with like Full HD and then create. So at this point, this is the advanced one, sorry. So now, I'm not going to get into this one right now, but I will let you know, once you learn the other one I'm about to show you, this one will be a lot easier. Just to go real basic, just look right here on the titles of each of these boxes and it'll help you. Navigate will navigate this whole area. So you can zoom in if you want to find a specific spot or draw really detailed, and then you can move this around to zoom in an image. Let me do that by starting with the one. So playful PIXLR is a real easy option when it comes to making art. I've made your basics here. So on this image right here, this is as easy as you can get. You have the navigate button, which allows you to zoom into a certain spot and move that around with this up here in the top left. When you're moving that over here on the top left, that'll let you zoom in at different percentages to get closer to an image so you can draw more detailed, or zoom out to the whole image. Right here are the layers, which you can tap this three dot button. It'll give you the title, the blend mode, which will allow you to change the different ways. Just mess around with it, click it, and see what it works. If you figure out what they start meaning over time, I'm not going to go into that, but just click around and try these different options. They'll just blend in with the image in the background different ways. Transparency will allow you to show you, what's the word I'm looking for? How much? Obviously, the transparency of how much you can see it, but there's another word that I'm looking for. It starts with an O. So there's also locking and unlocking that layer. If you unlock it, now you can delete the layer. If you make it visible or hidden, so that way it's not bothering you, or if you want to draw something around something and then bring it back. If you want to merge down, merge visible, or flatten the image, that's literally the same almost, but just for different reasons. If you wanted to merge down all the different layers, it'll merge it down. If you wanted to flatten everything into one image, that's the same difference almost, but merging is just knowing, I guess there's different images separate that are going to be flattened to the main background one. There's duplicate layer and then trash. On the left side, you have the properties of the image, which is the canvas size, and that's how much the size of your whole canvas, obviously, of how much work you have to work with. The image size, when you resize an image, it's just how it's going to be sized as a file. You can rotate these, flip the horizontal look of the image like that and back, or the same upside down. The background, you can change that color. If you have that on the image of a PNG, you can see a background usually. This right here will allow you to change to lock the aspect of how this looks, or if you wanted to adjust the specifics of the number, it'll give you that option to rotate and do just the same. And then the blend mode, which is what I was saying earlier on having the options to blend it with the background. The crop, I'm sure you know, is just highlighting the area you want to see. Everything else will get cut out, but it's still there. And the cut, it can be a little difficult with cut. There's the AI cut button, which will automatically cut everything that you need, or that it assumes you need, down to that word on the edge. So when you shape cut, that's going to give you the option to get a certain area. There's the magic cut, which will cut just a certain thing, like the O right here, or the N, or it'll automatically magically cut that for you, whatever you click on. The draw cutout will allow you to pick a certain area with this pen, and it'll just cut out that. And then the lasso will sort of stick to the edge of something, so you don't have to totally follow it, and it'll sort of lasso it to that edge, almost like magnetized to the edge of something, to make it easier for you to line out, like cut out an image without having to get exact. So you can either keep what you're highlighting or remove it and cut it out. The softness is how much of the edge of what you're cutting is going to be visible. Like that line right there is going to be softer on the edges instead of being, you know, lighter, and then this one is none, so it's just a straight cut like that. You can extract it as a layer. If you remove something and you wanted it to come back, you extract it as a layer, and now all of those that I just cut are one layer that I can move. And then, so you just, if you wanted to get rid of that for whatever reason, click this triple dot button, delete that layer, delete this layer, and delete this layer. Now you're just left with the original. And so keep on moving. Right here you have adjust, which you can adjust the colors. You can make it just black and white, invert everything on the colors like that. Auto fix, you got all the colors of messing with the vibrance of how bright that color is, the saturation of how much color is in that. I don't know how to explain the saturation, but it's just same as almost like a vibrance, but it's just a lot more color. Temperature of how cool or warm that image will be. The tint of, you know, reddish or greenish, and then, or purplish and greenish, and then the hue will change the different ways around the color wheel. Go down over here and it's messing with the light of the image, from the exposure, brightness, contrast, blackness of the image, and the whiteness of the image, the highlight portions, and then the shadows. Toning is another thing in itself with the colors. The fill is the amount that you're going to fill in with those colors, and then the curve is how you're messing with the curve of almost like the light, or just of those colors. I'm sorry, not the light. That's what this light area is for. But on Photoshop, this image reminds me of that. But anyway, so this is just for messing with the curves of how bright each of those colors are going to be, and you can just experiment with that. These filters are pretty cool. This is dealing with the details of the image to make it sharper. The clarity makes it sharper as well. Smoothness smooths out all those edges like this. The blur will make the whole image blurry. And then the grain will add a little old school grain like a photo. Vignette is to add the dark around the image, almost like it's getting caved in with shadow. like an Instagram picture. The fringe will bring the red and the blue out like a 3D glasses. Dehaze will make the white a little bit darker. Bloom will make everything white a little brighter. Glamour will make almost things seem like a glamour shot, which is sort of like a fuzzy bright light. Posterize is where you posterize all the gradients. If you don't know what that means, you're taking all the gradients that are normally smooth, blending, and then causing lines to show, differentiate the different color differences, I guess you'd say. Pixelate is where you'd make a blocky image like an old school video game. Mosaic is where you'd chop it up like obviously like a mosaic tile image that they used to do in that art style. So these right here are these different effects under this tab, and these are just make it easier for you to choose something without having to mess with it too much, and you could just choose in between different colors and make it easier on yourself. The reason why you can see this whole image here and you can't right here is because it's being cropped. As I told you, the image is still there. I'm only cropping the part that I want to see. But if I want to show you what we're working on, you just go back to the crop button, and now we're working with this. So with the effects, I just put that on there. You can mess with these different ones and just explore on the effects. That's sort of just preset effects instead of you having to figure it out. The liquefy is where it takes a lot of data, so I'm not going to mess with this on my laptop, but you can mess around with swirling the image, enlarging an area, shrinking the eyes, pushing something, or restoring how it used to be. You can mess with the size of how these effects are going to work. You can mess with the parameters of each of these effects. You can do a high quality preview, but it takes more processing power, or not. And then as well, when it comes to retouching, it's where you would take the clone stamp, for instance, and click an image, and now you can draw that same image somewhere else, and it's going to copy the area that you clicked on, and it's a clone of what exact position you clicked on, and it's going to keep, you see that crosshair, it's going to keep drawing the area that the crosshair is on. If I let go and I draw over here, it's still drawing that crosshair area that I highlighted earlier wherever I'm drawing at now, if that makes sense. You can mess with the parameters of that size of the brush. You can paint it or have the source of it. Sharpen or blur will sharpen an image or blur it in just that area. The dodge and burn tool will make certain, if you're messing with somebody's face and you want to brighten their cheeks, you use the dodge, and if you want to burn it to make a shadow under the cheek, you'd use the burn. The heal and repair will just clean any areas that you've messed with that you don't want to look like a certain way, and I think it restores it back to how it was, I believe, or I can't remember that one. But you can mess with the size and parameters on that. When it comes to drawing, you can use the pen, the brush tool, the eraser, the pen, and the shape tool to fill in large areas. Again, the parameters and then the colors you can use. Close that. You can use text. When you add a text here, it'll bring up a statement that you just erase and type it right here in this area, the box. You can align it, and then the case sensitivity or the italic and bold. They have a big selection of different fonts you can use. The color selection, the size of the image, the line spaces of how each line will be spaced out up and down vertically. The letter space is how much space is between each letter to give it more of an elegant look. As you can tell right here, I'm spreading out the letters left and right. If I was to have another line right here, now that line spacing tool will bring it up and down like that. If I turn the color, you can adjust the color specifically, move it left and right here. Or you can click this tool, which is the squeezing drops, which is what it means is you're grabbing a drop of this color and picking the exact tone to match whatever you're trying to switch the color for. So now I have the exact color of this brown for my lettering here, and I won't have to find the exact position of where that brown is with this tool right here. It's the dropper. So you can mess with the size of the text. Again, the line spacing, letter spacing. The background is what the background of this text will have, which I don't really use. The outline is just an outline of just those letters, and you can make the colors different to make cool different effects. And then as well, the shadow is underneath that text, and you can mess with the blur of how the shadow looks more blurry, or if it's like, that's the word, opacity is what I was thinking earlier. The transparency turns down the opacity. But with the blur tool, it'll blur the shadow and make it look a little bit more distant, or just whatever effect you're going for. The vertical positioning of that shadow behind the letter, and then the horizontal positioning of where you want that letter. The opacity is of how dark you're going to see it or how much you see that, and then the color of the shadow will be down here. And again, you can use the dropper tool for that. If you want to start over, just hit delete text, and you can add a new text on top of that, and just add as many as you like, but just don't get confused of where they are and how many you need. Right here is if you want to add an element, which I don't really use, and then add another image on top, whether it's browsing your own, getting a URL image, or a stock image right here down at the bottom left. So again, if you guys didn't catch any of that, pause it. You can always come back to this video and check out the different parts that I went over. If you didn't see the other two, I went over Capwing and SOUNDTRAP, which are two programs. One is for audio, SOUNDTRAP, and then Capwing is for video, and this is what I use for my images in Photoshop, in a sense. PIXLR, PIXLR, as you can see in the top left. But besides that, I'm out of here. I do want to thank you guys for watching again. This is the part 3 of the triple video installment. I just wanted to show you guys a tutorial on. Hopefully it helps you guys, and then definitely subscribe on the YouTube down below. Hit that subscribe button. Go on the Twitch, and you guys can check out the Twitch that I have. It's a freestyle improv beat selection platform, if you guys want to check that out. Scessions. And then come join me, throw some ideas for samples, and I can make a beat or rap to it. Besides that though, I do thank you guys for watching. And then I'm going to put up my schedule just so you guys can see, Monday through Thursday at 9 Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Thanks.